What's up, Unlocking Your Inner Strength listeners? How would you like to know how to flip the time intensity curve on its head to become prolific with your time? Well, I got good news for you. I've put together a special report showing you how to do this. It's normally $45, but since you're a loyal listener of the show, you can get it for only $10 at unlockingyourinnerstrength.com/time.
You're listening to The Inner Strength Show. If you want to step into your greatness, you've come to the right place. Here is your host, the human strength expert, Kyle Newell.
Hey everybody, it's Kyle once again with another episode of Unlocking Your Inner Strength. This is episode number 102, which is moving along. So episode number 102, which means we're coming up on 2 years straight without missing an episode. Pretty cool stuff. Today, what I'm going to go over is fat loss insights from something I've been working on personally and some mind map, mindset type of insights that kind of come along with that. So as far as fat loss, so this 90-day chunk, I set my fitness goal as getting to 10% and then staying there throughout the summer. So I got to 10% down from 14. That was my starting point. And it really was not that hard. I set my calories and then use that as a guide. But then once you have that guide, you have to go based on something called biofeedback. Now, biofeedback is not something that you, if you're inexperienced, can assess by yourself. And I'll explain why. Biofeedback takes an emotional maturity when it comes to nutrition and diet. Most people, as soon as they go on any type of diet, and that's air quotes because we're all on some type of diet, but anytime somebody goes on a type of diet, they start having a pity party and thinking about the things they're restricting themselves from or depriving themselves of. Thus, they don't stay on the plan very long. They're bringing a willpower-based approach. It's not willpower when we're trying to form a new habit. Your brain is not going to form willpower on anything that's willpower-based. Willpower is doing stuff you don't like to do. It does not make sense from a survival point of view for the brain to form a habit around something that it doesn't find enjoyable. So if you need more structure and you don't have that level of dieting maturity, then you kind of track your calories. Now, if you had a coach, if you had somebody walking you through this, they would assess your biofeedback. So I have people online that I coach still with fitness, and some of them are literally on the other side of the world. So we get an update every week through Voxer, and then one guy in particular will send me his biofeedback, and I make changes based on what he's telling me. So yesterday was Father's Day, and it just so happened to coincide with the feedback I was reading through my own body, that I decided it was time to have a full-on cheat day. And it's funny because when I posted it, I was going to be doing that, a lot of my buddies were saying, oh, we do that all the time. There's two different things here. There's eating, food should be enjoyed, right? But then when you actually are in super compensation mode, which I'm going to explain a great deal today, it does your metabolism a great deal of good to have a big calorie spike. So what's super compensation mode? To lose fat, you got to think of your muscles, okay? Think of them like a sink with fluid or water in it. And as long as that sink is full, meaning the plug is put in, your body has no reason to tap into fat stores. That full sink of water represents energy, glycogen in this term. So glycogen is the storage form of carbohydrate within the muscle. It's when water combines with carbohydrate, 3 grams of water to 1 gram of carbohydrate. So when people do like a keto diet, or which is completely different than low carb and all this, it's two different things. It could be the same, but first of all, if you read my article from a couple weeks ago, I had a lot of science in there completely debunking keto and long-term effects of that. But when people do something like keto or low carb and they lose a lot of weight initially, it's just fluid, because if your carbohydrates don't, or your water doesn't have any carbohydrates to bind with, you're going to start urinating more and you're going to lose a lot of quick water weight, but that's not what you're after. Getting back to the point at hand, when your glycogen comes down to a certain level and you want to have a slow drip of depleting your glycogen. So as your muscles start to feel a little flat, meaning body fat's going to be coming down, you're going to get certain signals based on hormones like leptin and ghrelin where your appetite is going to start to climb and energy and performance might dip a little bit. Urination should always go up when you're in fat loss mode because think about it. If you don't have as much glycogen, again, you don't have anything for the water to really bind to. So you're going to urinate a lot more. And this is something I've noticed for years. Every time I would do a bodybuilding show or coach somebody to get lean, urination levels should go up due to low glycogen. So if you stay there too long, your body gets very efficient, and efficiency is not good when we're talking about metabolism. If your car is more efficient at using fuel, it's going to use less fuel, not more of it. We want the body to use more fuel, meaning more fat, if we're trying to get lean. And metabolism and calories are two different things. People confuse those things greatly. There's a way to train and optimize the metabolism, which is where I'm going with this. So I assessed my biofeedback over the past couple of weeks. I kept having steady drops. And this week I had a big drop in muscle mass, came down like 6 pounds from 124 pounds to 118. My performance was fine, though, at jiu-jitsu and in the gym. Strength was actually up. I got the 100-pound dumbbells for 20 reps on Saturday, dumbbell bench, so that was pretty solid. So muscle came down. Weight had a big drop of 4 pounds. And my mood is the main thing I noticed. I was starting to think a lot more about food. And you know, I can read with the way I was looking, my appetite. Okay, appetite's different than hunger. I'll get back to that in a second. But my appetite was starting to ramp up over the weeks. So I decided to employ a full-on cheat day. Not because I wanted to indulge. Yes, I wanted to enjoy myself. I love food more than anybody. But I realized, okay, time to start maybe implementing a weekly spike meal or spike day, to move forward, to keep my metabolism optimized and to keep everything humming along. What's up, Unlocking Your Inner Strength listeners? How would you like to know how to flip the time intensity curve on its head to become prolific with your time? Well, I got good news for you. I've put together a special report showing you how to do this. It's normally $45, but since you're a loyal listener of the show, you can get it for only $10 at unlockingyourinnerstrength.com/time. Again, your body's going to fight you if you get too lean or you get below your set point. Everybody's got a set point with where their body is comfortable as far as body fat and weight. If you try to get below that, your body is going to resist you hormonally. A very, very few part of the population, percentage of the population can stay below their set point. And if they do, it's because they obsess about it and they're not very fun people to be around. So we got to figure out, where the set point is, try to get to the bottom of that. But then we had to keep everything humming along. So even when I was competing at bodybuilding shows, I would employ full cheat days all the way up through the contests. Because when you get that lean, first of all, your energy tanks and doing everyday activities becomes damn near impossible because your concentration is so low. And I know because I've dieted down many times to that level for bodybuilding shows that one of the biggest biofeedback signals for me was my energy level or in my mindset. I couldn't focus as much towards the end of last week, which gets frustrating, but you just got to make tweaks. So yesterday I stopped posting the pictures because it was just getting tedious. But I did about 8,000 to 9,000 calories. Wasn't a legendary cheat day, but it was solid. Now today, had a good workout this morning. I sweat a ton. My shirt was soaked. I was holding a lot of fluid from yesterday. I weighed in yesterday at 229 pounds. I didn't weigh in today, but I'm guessing I was probably up 8 to 10 pounds. Now, like next week, to assess if I should do another cheat day or just have a cheat meal, I'll see if my weight has come back down to around 230 or less. And my hunger was already revving and rearing to go today at 11 a.m. So I had my bowl of oatmeal with blueberries. So things you have to assess. Now, going back to hunger. When you're in fat loss mode, when you're trying to lose fat, there should always be a mild sense of hunger. Tolerable hunger is the key. Nobody can stick with something that causes extreme hunger and fantasizing about food long term. There's no way. Your body is not built for that. So that's something you have to assess. But if you're in fat loss mode, there should always be a tolerable hunger. You should feel like you're never quite full, but you eat enough to fuel yourself. So that's something to keep in mind. So that's where we're at with the fat loss journey. And I'm feeling great. Last thing I wanted to talk about were two mindset pieces that kind of tie into this. Don't be committed to a diet Be committed to a process in your character traits. Do you want to be somebody that lives a disciplined life? Or do you want to be somebody that commits to this diet, then this 3-week diet, then this 30-day diet? That's floozy. There's no anchor there. Commit to the process and commit to who you want to be. And then you undertake, if it's diet or training or something in your field of work, you're committed to not what you are doing, but who you're being when you're doing it. That's very important. Commit to who you are being when you're doing it, not necessarily what you are doing. If you can hear the horn behind me, that's Munchie, probably in my truck, but the keys are not in there. And lastly, the brain needs clarity whenever it's trying to do anything of forward progress. A lack of clarity causes the threat level in the brain to go up and stress level go up and cloudiness and anxiety. We can't function well when we're too anxious. But it's impossible to have motivation when there's a lack of clarity. So a lot of times people will say, I don't know what to do. I don't know what the first thing is. Figure out what the first thing is, and then you start there. Yes, GL Munchie is ready for New York City. He'll be driving soon. Figure out what the first thing is on your journey, and then you start with that. Don't think about step number 10, 11, 12. Too far out in the future, the anxiety gap grows, and you're going to go into freeze mode. What's the smallest possible step you can start with today or this week? And it's not the act, when we're in the act of something that's overwhelming. It's the thought about it. So if we keep thinking out to the future and keep thinking about these things that we have to do, we must do, blah, 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 that's where overwhelm comes. When you're actually in it, there's no overwhelm. If I think about jujitsu when I'm going to class and gonna spar with the black belt for 5-minute rounds, that thought can be overwhelming. But when I'm actually doing it, I'm enjoying it. I'm in there. I'm in the moment. It's not overwhelming, the actual thought of doing it. So hopefully that you can piece all these and connect all these dots together. It's up to you to connect the dots. I don't know what resonates with you exactly. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already left a review on iTunes, please do so. That'll help me out greatly. And share the podcast with somebody that is interested in these type of topics. And also, if you're looking for private one-on-one coaching, you can go to kylenewell.com/coaching. And there's an application there. And then we will get on the phone to discuss if it's a good fit for you. But I must warn you, it's expensive. So just keep that in mind if you do choose to apply. All right, I'll be back next week. Peace, everybody.
You've been listening to The Inner Strength Show. If you enjoyed the show, remember to subscribe, rate, and review us in iTunes.